Hello everybody, how are you doing today? I am doing very well, thank you. Today I am going to be doing some travel journaling, if you like, in my It's a Small World journal. I made this when I was back home in England for Christmas. I made it with my mother, she made one too, and I've basically been using it for my trip and anything that I did on my trip for Christmas when I went back home to England. So basically today I just wanted to document the very last day of my trip, which will be this page here. I kind of just wanted to do this page because I'm currently at home and I just felt like doing it today. But basically we spent a week in a hotel quarantine in Tokyo, so we got to leave. So I wanted to document the trip home and how it was when we actually got home. So I actually have some photographs here from when we got home, and there was a lot of snow. This isn't a great quality photograph, but you can see there was a lot of snow in our town by our house, and also there were these huge icicles down the side of our house, coming off our roof, because obviously no one had shoveled around by our house for us. Why would they? We were gone for just under a month, so was it a month by the time with quarantine, maybe even a month. So there was a month build-up of snow in Japan's snowiest season, so I kind of wanted to document that. I've also pre-drawn everything because just a little pre-drawn thing just saying home time, and then this was actually the bus that we got picked up in from Tokyo and driven all the way to our home, which is not a short distance from Tokyo. I actually live quite far away from Tokyo, so yeah, so I wanted to sort of document that. I also wanted to draw the trees and the mountains as well, so I do have some other little bits and bobs here that I wanted to include. So the reason I kind of wanted to document the coming home part of my trip rather than the other parts of the trip at the moment is I am feeling a little bit homesick, so I'm finding it difficult to actually go back and look at those memories, even though it won't be too long until I'm home from Japan permanently. I still do obviously really miss my family, and just looking back at the photographs from Christmas and the amazing time that we had, it does really make me quite homesick. And before that I hadn't seen my family for 2 years, so yeah, it just kind of puts everything into perspective, and yeah, I really do miss them at the moment. So I thought instead I would do actually when I arrived back into my little home here, and I also really do love my home here. I live in a really beautiful place, and I really have enjoyed living in this part of Japan in the countryside. So yeah, I just wanted to instead document the amount of snow that we had when I came home, because that was shocking. And also the journey home, because we had a little bit of a wild driver. I actually felt quite unsafe. And he picked us up it wasn't too late in the evening, but I think he was just very tired, and yeah, it was quite a scary experience. So I was so happy to be home and to be safe. So for this part I actually want to make some mountains, because the drive home involved a lot of mountainous roads, which is very typical of the area that I live in. So I would just want to make some mountains, some big, some small. I'm going to use this green paper for that. This was actually a gift bag that I was given from a little shop. So I thought I could use this one. I don't know if this is going to work. It'd probably be better if I used different colours so you could see the mountains a bit better. But I'm going to try it anyway. If it doesn't work, we could always scrap the idea. I don't have to do it. But I just thought it would be like an interesting way to document it. So I have those there. I like to cut out everything I'm going to use first, so I can just go ahead and like glue it all in straight away. I think I'm going to use some of these blues, and there's some really nice silvers in there too. So I'm just going to get a big brush, a really big brush, and I'm going to start with this blue here. And I've never like mixed these together like on a big page like this, so this will be really interesting to try. But often if I do something like this, like a big double spread page, I like it to look like coherent with the entire spread, if that makes sense. So I'll often add the same kind of wash around the whole background. I'm not really too technical with it, but yeah, that's something I just like to do. And I also have this other blue as well. Now I'm watering it down quite a bit just so it's not so striking in the background, but as you can see, this one blue is a little bit darker than the other blue. But I just want it to have that sort of snowy look and like snowflake kind of look. You know how snowflakes just have a, when they sort of spurt out like that, like a little star, like that kind of thing. I almost can't get enough water down that I'm trying to put down. I'm not sure about the title yet, so I'm just going to paint over it for now, and then I'll probably just put a, I'm just going to take this out because I think it'll be a bit easier. I'll probably just put a darker colour on the title there. This one is called, can't actually read what colour it is. Ice? Is it just ice? How convenient that this colour is called ice. Very fitting. So while that's drying, I'm just going to use my watercolours to paint this car. Now, this isn't going to go too much with the theme. I guess it will because we have some green here. But the car that happened to pick us up from Tokyo was bright green. Well, it was probably more actually of a like a hospital green. I call it like a hospital green because they seem to paint all the hospitals like this kind of green colour. It's almost like a, I don't know, like a relaxing green, I guess. It's probably more of that colour, but I'm going to do this bright green because I like to exaggerate a little bit, because to me, I'm quite dramatic, but to me, it was just like obviously the brightest car that they could possibly pick us up in. Was like this bright green car. It's like if anyone was looking for us, they would be able to find us quite easily. And then this is how I remember it. I'm not sure actually if this is true or not, but I believe it had like a yellow stripe here. That might not have been true. But I'm going to put a yellow stripe here. And I'm also going to do the yellow headlights. And I'm going to do these headlights like coming into the road, because we couldn't see anything because we were coming through the mountains where there was no street lights, and he was going very fast, and yes, it was quite scary. So I just kind of want to illustrate that a little bit because that is what happened, and I do like to kind of go by what actually happened. And it is, well, it is a journal really, so it is for memory keeping, and I think it's quite important to actually journal what actually happened for me personally. I like to obviously exaggerate a little bit. I think we all do, but but this is actually what happened to me, so that is what I'm going to do. And I'm still going with this really like loose painterly style, just so I can kind of illustrate the drive itself. Like, it was a rocky road and it was a rocky drive, so I'm not going to do a nice clean like perfect road, because that is exactly what it was not. So so yeah, I'm trying to illustrate all this just through the style that I'm painting in, which is very like loose and kind of forgiving in that way, that it's kind of loose and not perfect. So hopefully it gives that feel, but for me personally it will, because I actually experienced it. So that's basically the car, and I'll probably add a little bit of extra to that as well. So let's just do the mountains for now. This feels like very school project-y, actually. I haven't done anything quite like this for a while, so it's kind of fun actually. It's very relaxing and I don't have to think much about it. You just glue and stick and glue and stick, which is always fun. So I'm just going to keep going with the mountains and probably get gradually a little bit bigger. I'll start off quite small. I also am really happy that I'm repurposing this paper, because I remember I bought a load of postcards from a very small, like very sweet little store. Literally, like, there was no one around and we just stopped to use the restroom, and it was by the side of the road, and they had these beautiful postcards that had been illustrated and painted by somebody who was local to the area, and I obviously loved them and wanted to buy one for every person in my family. But if you've never been to Japan, you might not know this, but they tend to make a big fuss over, I say fuss, a big deal out of wrapping and gifts in general. So often the wrapping in Japan is to a very high standard, and it looks very pretty, and it's quite a cared about thing. So if you go to a store and you say, oh, it's like a gift for somebody, and they'll say, like, how many bags do you want? Because they assume that you are giving multiple gifts to multiple people. So basically in this store I bought, like, I don't know how many postcards. It was all my Christmas cards for my family. I bought all my Christmas cards, postcards. So I bought quite a lot, and the ladies in there were like really trying to get enough bags for every single one of these cards, and they were panicking until I told them that actually it's fine, because I'm going to send the cards in the post, so I don't need all these bags. And then they were relieved because they didn't have enough they didn't have enough gift bags for me. So this is one of those bags from that shop, so I'm glad that I'm able to use it for something, because they only had this one bag to give me in the end, which is quite funny. But yeah, so yeah, I do love that about Japan, that they put so much care into their packaging and the presentation of the gifts as well. It's the same with the food too. They put a lot of thought and presentation into the food as well. Okay, so I've got this pen. I've got this Posca pen that's just leaked all over me. But I have this very thin Posca pen, so I'm just going to like fill in the top a little bit. I don't think it's going to work on this type of paper though. For some reason it's not really picking it up. I do have another type of Posca pen that might work a little bit better, so let's try that one. Let's try this one. There we go. That also helps with the definition of the mountains a little bit more. But there was a lot more snow on the mountains than that. But let's just do it like this. And then I'm just going to put like little dots on the road and on the mountain, so it feels like it was snowing. So you get the feeling it was snowing. It's just disappearing into the road because it's so pale, but I think you kind of get the feeling. especially in the headlights. When the snow comes towards you in the headlights, it really affects your vision and you can't see very much at all. So definitely put it in there. So let's try and stick some of these photos in, and some of the other, oops, still wet, and some of the other things that I liked. So I really liked this photo. I'm a bit worried that I will over clutter it a little bit, which tends to happen with me. But I think if we like have this side for the photos and this side can be a little bit of journaling, I think that will probably work out best. So I'm going to just stick this down. I'm going to be bold and stick it down. This is also almost exactly what it looked like, in case you're curious. It's like driving through these mountains. So quite scary. I also think it's sweet because there's two little people there like looking up at the snow. It's very much what happened. And I'm just going to be bold with these photos. I'm not really going to try and think about it too much and just hope that they go down in the correct place. So we had some icicles. And we had... We were so happy to be back. I think this one here I'll just cut out a little bit because it kind of almost looks like I'm in this landscape. So let's just cut it out. I could even put it over here, like behind the mountain. That's quite funny, isn't it? And then it will add some pictures to this side of the image. That's funny. So maybe if I just cut this one out a little bit, and then, sorry if you can't see what I'm doing, I keep going off camera, and I could just stick it like here in the middle or something. I kind of like it here. Okay, and then I also have this one, which is, like I said, like almost exactly where we live, but I don't really see a good place for it. Maybe like in between home and time is good, or maybe not. I'll just leave it there for now. I also have these really cool pictures from Bambi. I bought these from like a vintage a vintage sticker collection thing that you could get somewhere, like, but I bought them from like a little secondhand store in Tokyo like a few years ago now, and I just really love them because they remind me of here, but I don't think I'm gonna fit them on this page, so I'll probably just leave them out for now. I do have some little tags from our luggage, so I think I'll stick those in. But what I will do is, this is actually to London, not from London. I kind of wanted the from London, but I only have the to London, so let's just do the to London. It's all the same thing. We know we know why we went and when we went. So I'm just cutting it into a heart shape. I really wanted the A and A in, but it's not going to fit, so let's just cut that off. I know what it is. I also have two more, so if I mess this up completely. I got these little luggage things. So I think actually one here is really nice. And maybe one like over here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the title. I'm not sure what colour to do. we have some options. I think I'll do the green because this is green and it kind of goes with that a little bit. I'm really glad I did the background like I did with that kind of the kind of look, because I think it really suits it. So I'm just using the Posca pen and going over obviously the text that I already, that needs to be a bit longer, that I already drew out. And I really love Posca pens for this. It just makes it so easy to do any kind of bold lettering that you might want to do. Just checking I'm still filming. Yes, I am. Yeah, and it just makes it so easy to do any bold lettering and to add any extra details if you want to. I really like Posca pen. Yeah, so I was thinking about getting the finer ones, but let me know if you have used the finer tip Posca pen. I only have the white one, and from what I seen, it doesn't like come out as strong, or obviously as much paint comes out at the same time. So I don't know, let me know if you've tried them, because I'm considering getting a set of those. And I also wonder if it does this kind of fuzz thing as much as the thicker ones do, because the thicker ones have this obviously really thick tip on the end. So yeah, let me know how you got along with them if you have them. So I'm just gonna do little dots all over this again to just illustrate the fact that it was snowing. And by this point, by the way, I am very much tired of the snow, which is another reason why I wanted to do this now, so that I didn't have to do it when I'd actually finish this book in a few months and I look back at it and and I have to do snow. I have to look at snow. The snow this year has been very tiresome for me, and it's been very cold this year. I think more than most years that I've been here. And even though it is so beautiful, I think I've had enough of it this year. So yeah, so I didn't want to come back to this like in spring and do this finishing page with the snow. That's why I'm doing it now, while it's still snowy outside. But it is going. It rained quite a lot today, which got rid of a lot of the snow, which is good. So what I'm doing now is with my Tombow water-based marker, I'm just putting a shadow on the one side of the lettering, and just, I'm not being too precious about this, just kind of where the shadow would be, but it's not perfect at all. I just kind of like to do it like this. But yeah, so this kind of just makes it look somehow just look a little bit more professional and a little bit more finished, even though it is just such a simple thing to do, just like that on one side, but it just somehow makes it look a little bit more finished. So I like to do this on some of my more messier lettering, because it just makes it look, which is most of my lettering, to be honest. I'm not I like the kind of loose style. I definitely favour that more loose style. I also want to put some more detail in this van. So this is actually from Muji, and I bought this quite a long time ago actually, but it seems to be working. And I'm just going to go over this a few times just so it keeps with that messy style that I talked about at the start, the kind of sporadic loose style. So I just go around each line a couple of times to make it look more purposeful. Kind of waving out the window. That looks like he's trapped. That's not what I meant to draw, but it's fine. And then I'm going to draw me in the back here. I was very tired by this point, as you can probably imagine. There was a lot of rules that we had to follow, and there was just a lot that we had to go through, a lot of paperwork, and it was totally worth it to see all of our family. But by this point, me and Jack were pretty exhausted. I might just do some more, because now that stands out a lot to me, so I kind of want to do the black on here too instead of the Tombow. So let's just do that so this stands out too, because we do want the title to be the thing that stands out the most as well. I'm just going to add a few little points here. I don't want to draw over this, but let's do it up here. It's cold. Like that. Because it is cold, it was very cold. And then the same green as this screen, I'm just going to add some little like frames around some of the pictures to make them stand out a little bit more as well, especially the ones here in the background that are kind of getting lost a little bit. And the good thing with the Poscas is they do just draw over anything, so you can kind of do any pattern, any design, and it will draw over anything, any material. I don't know about actual material, like fabric material, but it will draw over most things, especially when it comes to paper. And then I'll do the same on this one. So these two are similar. And if you don't get a feeling of cold from this picture, then I did something wrong. But if you feel a very cool feeling from looking at this picture, then I did something right. I think there is a cool feeling from this picture, but there's also a very like loving and warm feeling from this picture, because obviously we're home and we're very happy about being home. So I do want to also get that point across, even though it was a scary ride. We are safe, we are home, and we are happy to be home, and the trip was worth it. It was very magical. So this is actually the final page in this book, but as you might know, if you've seen my other videos, then you'll know that I'm nowhere near finished in this book, but I just wanted to do the final page first, as it's so cold at the moment, and I'm definitely taking inspiration from the current situation and the current climate outside. Okay, so this is my final page in this journal complete. I still have a lot to do in it, as you know if you watch the whole video. I still have loads to do in this journal, but this is the final page complete. I was really happy to do this page. It was a really thankful time in our lives that everything was successful with our trip, and as you can see from these photographs, we were really happy to be home. So yeah, that's it. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video and having a more relaxed kind of sit down chatty video with me. It was really fun for me too, and yeah, I will see you next Sunday as always with a brand new video. So take care everybody, bye.